Hi, and welcome to today's video. I'm Mary Felling. I'm a physical therapist, and for the last 25 years of my 30-plus year career, I've specialized in an area called myofascial release. Today's technique is for the respiratory diaphragm. The respiratory diaphragm is found right at the base of your rib cage, and our rib cage doesn't go straight across. It kind of does this, comes up, and then goes back down, and that's where your respiratory diaphragm is. If you touch the bottom of your rib cage, the very last rib, and push in a little bit, that's your respiratory diaphragm. And as you come up in between, the respiratory diaphragm is still here and still here, but you can see it's not a straight thing. So when you're doing this exercise with me, make sure you have found the very base of your rib cage. This treatment technique is really good for people who have mid-back pain, people who are experiencing chest, shoulder pain. It's good for those of you who aren't able to get a deep breath. This is really good to help your breathing. So if you're a singer or a speaker, this is very helpful for you to get more air, move more air with each of your words or as you're singing. So let me show you the position and I'll talk you through it. And what I'm going to use is a TheraBall. You can use a knotted up towel. You can use any kind of a squishy ball. I would not try a tennis ball or a baseball just to start, because most people are very tender through here, and it would be unlikely you'd be able to stay on that very long. So make sure you start with something squishy, and as we're doing the technique, if you find that I don't feel anything, it's very soft, this is no problem, then you do want to up your game and get something that has some more firmness to it. So I'm using All Ball, and you can find a link to this in the description under the video. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to be on a good firm surface, and it can be your floor, probably put a mat on the floor, it can be on some kind of a treatment table, but a couch and a bed are probably too soft for this exercise. All right, so you're going to lie down on your side, either side, doesn't matter. And you're just kind of feeling with your fingers along the respiratory diaphragm, you're just feeling where that tightest or most tender spot can be. And I kind of have an idea. I feel something here, so I'm going to put the ball right there. My outside arm goes down behind me. See, I'm waving. I have tricks. And I'm very slowly putting my weight on that. And as I have my weight down, I kind of shift my body. I'm going left and right, up and down, until I go, oh, that's a spot. So we're about to start the clock. For those of you who still need time to find your spot, stop the video, pause the video for a moment, and then when you've got a spot that's tender or tight, resume the video and you can follow along in our 5-minute treatment technique. For the rest of you, our time has started. And all you want to do is, as you're lying there, you want to soften. You want to relax. And as you're softening, you're feeling. What do you feel in there? It might just be uncomfortable. It might be very painful. If you're doing this technique and you find yourself tightening or tensing because of the pain, or you find you're holding your breath because of the pain, then that's too much and you need to back out. Or you need to get something a little softer. You might have to kind of move away from the ball or whatever object you're using. But whatever you go to a softer object, get back in the position, soften again, really let your body weight kind of meld over the ball, relax over the ball. If you feel some pain, just before you decide to stop and get something softer, see if you can relax in that pain. And if you can, stay there. So what we're doing at this point, it's a time game right now. We're waiting for 5 minutes. When you're doing a myofascial release technique, you're putting mechanical energy into the body for a minimum of 5 minutes to get this bioelectric flow started. The bioelectric flow is called the piezoelectric effect. So it takes 5 minutes, uninterrupted 5 minutes, by the way. You can't get up, go blow your nose, get a drink of water, and come back if you've been on the ball for 2 minutes and keep it going. The clock has to start over if you interrupt your 5 minutes. But at the end of the 5 minutes, it starts and it elicits the piezoelectric effect. We're using a mechanical energy of compression on the respiratory diaphragm, and the fascia that runs through the diaphragm, as it hits 5 minutes, that electrical flow goes through the fascia. And as it flows through the fascia of our body, and we have fascia from the top of our heads to the bottom of our feet, side to side and front to back. It's one single piece of material. As that flow is going through, and when it comes to an area that's tight and bound down and dehydrated in the fascia, it's what we call a myofascial restriction, it helps that area to start rehydrating, softening, and getting elasticity back so that the rigidity moves out, elasticity comes back. So if you've been having troubles getting deep breaths, you can get a deeper breath now. And because the because the respiratory diaphragm goes all the way to your back, it's like a plane or plate that if you just put a piece of fascia right through the body, it goes from below the rib cage all the way back to this part of your back in your mid-back. That's why people with mid-back pain will get relief from working here. If the respiratory diaphragm is really tight, it'll pull through back here. So if you're as you're lying here, you're softening and you're feeling, you might feel pulling in different areas of your body. You might feel it pulling across your back. If so, that's great. Stay where you are. You're not injuring yourself. It's just your body telling you you found a fascial restriction in the respiratory diaphragm that has been creating pulling and tension into your mid-back. And so now you have a chance to release that, which is great. All right, we're in our last minute here. You may certainly stay longer in this position. It won't hurt you. It won't injure you. You'll just get more and more releases. 5 minutes is just the minimum, that's all. But you can be here 10 minutes. You can work on yourself 20 minutes in one spot. And you'll just help to get rid of tension and dehydrated areas that have been holding your respiratory diaphragm tight and keeping it from being able to do its job. And sometimes people are on this and they will tell me they feel pain up into their chest, down into the pelvic floor. That's great. It means that if you have any problems through your chest or your pelvic floor, the respiratory diaphragm, the fascia through the respiratory diaphragm has been part of the problem, so you want to keep working there. So that's the end of this technique. This is really good to add into other techniques and programs you're doing. For example, if you've looked at the mid-back video, this is another exercise you absolutely want to add to your mid-back video techniques to help your mid-back feel better. All right, when you do come out slowly. You may not have been in that position for a long time, so you always move slowly when you're moving in and out of a new position. And you're welcome to find 3 or 4 different restrictions across in the respiratory diaphragm. It doesn't have to be just one. Today's for demonstration purposes. I only showed you one spot, but most of us have many, many different spots along that respiratory diaphragm. All right, thank you for showing up for yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.